All right, getting back to the Masters of Horror episodes, I apologize up front because typically take notes on these, and yeah, I didn't take many. I didn't take many this time. So yeah, We sat down to watch this one, and you know, Kaylee and I, we usually like these a lot. Like we have a lot of good things to talk about with these episodes after we're done, even if we're not crazy about them. Like with chocolate or something, it was like we still had a good amount to say about the episode. But as soon as this got over, we just kind of like looked at each other and we're like, I I don't really have much to say. And I was taking notes, and I have like a couple things written down. I got really nothing here. So this one's directed by William Malone, who did House on Haunted Hill, the new one, and Fear.com, which I think that kind of points you in the direction of the quality of this. And this is about this young girl who gets kidnapped as the 12th victim of this grieving family's attempt to get their son completely back healed and to life. And, he she gets thrown down there with him. Spoilers, obviously. She gets thrown down there with him, and he, I don't know, he falls for her, I guess, because he can't do this to her. He had no problem killing the other 11 people. And this guy has a really good knack for finding dirty spots of the floor to write on that have never been touched by anything. They're like completely smooth. And he keeps like putting his finger down and writing in like the exact same place. And somehow there's like no no distortion, um, the dirt on the ground hasn't been messed with at all. It's always smooth. It's hilarious. I pointed it out. We were laughing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess he falls in love with her because she's a pretty girl, and they've had like 3 seconds of interaction. So I guess that's enough time. Um, but yeah, I mean, the only thing that I liked about about this episode is that um, at the end he blames his parents, and he's like pissed off that he has to kill again, and he bargains with this demon or whatever the hell for her life and for the price of his two parents. And I thought that was great. I love that. I love that kind of twist of like, because it's pretty shocking that she dies, right? And then and you're like, damn, I kept expecting her to pop up. I kept expecting there to be some twist to her death, and there was, but just not in the way that I expected. And so, yeah, I mean, he makes that deal, and then she comes back, and she seems to be very okay with the fact that she's there, and that she doesn't have any real memory, even though when she wakes up in the beginning and Lori Petty is talking to her. Although at this point, I think she remembers being kidnapped. The whole parent thing, Lori Petty's in this, and I know Lori Petty from Tank Girl and In the Army Now and fucking League of Their Own, and like Orange is the New Black most recently. I'm super familiar with her. She's exactly the same in everything. She's just Lori Petty. Uh, but I don't know. This is like this eccentric family, right? Like the dad is what? I don't want to say some random diagnosis or guess at what's wrong with him, but something's off. And they have like these flashback scene where they're working on music together, and I'm assuming that this is here to show us what their life was like before, but now what they've resorted to, I guess. And then the next flashback is them on the day that their son dies, and for his 15th birthday, he's gifted a boat in a little lake, which he immediately goes out and flips over. So you gave a boat to a kid who can't swim when the dad can't swim, and this kid flips the boat over in like 4 seconds. Like, I don't know. That part was so dumb. And then they kind of try to do this artistic thing with the flashbacks where it's this like old timey kind of feel to it, and the green screens and everything make it feel very dreamlike. I'm not really sure how I feel about the aesthetics of that or the choices artistically. Um, they're okay. The other good thing about the episode is the fair-haired child demon. I don't know if I guess that's not the fair-haired child, right? The fair-haired child is what he was, and what they're trying to recreate. And that's what he is at the end because his hair is blonde and everything. Um, but the demon in this, that he turns into, or comes for, I, yeah, it's him, right? That like he turns into that thing, and then she turns into that thing to reclaim her own body. That's how that works, I guess. Anyway, that thing looks really cool. I dig that. I'm a big fan of the look of that thing. But I don't know. I just couldn't connect with anything. The setup for her and her kidnapping is they're supposed to show us that she's some shy girl she's getting made fun of in school. I guess this is how they're able to tell she's a virgin. I mean, just because, yeah, I guess they kidnap her, right? And then they kind of interview her, or at least Lori Petty does. But I don't know. I just couldn't connect with really anything, and everything just didn't feel earned. I think is the problem. Is like we didn't really get to know her before she was kidnapped. We don't really get to know why they picked her. We don't really get to see the relationship blossom all that much between the kidnapped girl and the fair, what will become the fair haired child, and the relationship between Lori Petty, the mom, and the dad. Like, I don't really know their story all that much. It's just kind of like I have to fill in too much, and when I have to do that, I'm not, enjoying myself as much. So let's see, did I? She comes in on him trying to hang himself, and she stops him. Obviously, he just doesn't want to kill. He's never been a fan of this, from what I can tell. But it's not till the hot chick gets there. Although she is the 12th, so he's like, well, with this one at least I can bargain. I was so tired when we were watching it. I was like falling asleep, and it not being all that engaging was not helping either. And if you want to keep a victim alive, especially for some sacrificial, um, you know, thing like they were doing, ritual, you may not want to hit them with your van and throw them across like the woods, because the chances are they're gonna die. So when she gets hit, although shocking, it does make me immediately think, like, aren't you trying to, like, this person has to be alive for this, right? For this sacrifice. So yeah, hitting someone with your van to keep them alive, probably not the best idea. So they give their kid a boat when neither of them know how to swim. They're hitting girls that need to survive with cars and making wild assumptions that this girl's a virgin. Um, and a lot of girls would lie about that anyways. A lot of people might, as they put into that kind of situation, like, have you been sexually active? And if they're young enough. And here's another thing, like, the fair-haired child, didn't he die when he was 15 years old? And this girl's in college at the end, or at the beginning? So isn't she like 19 or 20 fucking years old, and this kid's like 15, and now what? They're gonna have a romantic relationship? Is that, I don't know. But I guess he's aged. Maybe he doesn't look like it. He looks like he's pretty damn young. But because it's been 12 years, is he aging 12 years during that time that it took? Every birthday, right? It says every birthdays. But at the end, does he look 27? He don't look 27 to me. So I don't know what age he's supposed to be here, but he has lived 12 more years. So mentally, right? It's mentally that matters more, right, than physically. It's like that Kirsten Dunst in, Interview with the Vampire or something. It's like, or like Twilight, Edward Cullen. That's kind of a creepy story, right? Like, if it's a mental thing, him going after Kristen Stewart's character, Belith. No, that's what the fuck was her name? Bella something. I don't know. Anyway, he's like 100 years old, 1,000 years old, some shit like that, and she's like in high school. Like, yeah, you might look 16, 17. That's like a yeah. I mean pedophile. That there you go, man. A pedophile. Although I don't know if you were bitten. That's such a tough question because obviously it doesn't stay in the realm of reality. So it's always hard on those hypotheticals of like if you were bit when you were 15 and you stayed looking 15, mentally you'd get older, right? And you'd start to get into older women. I mean, you wouldn't still stay wanting to fuck and date and hang out with only like 15 or 14-year olds, right? I don't know. So I don't know how old the fucking kid's supposed to be. Um, but anyways, I tried to elongate this as long as I could. There's not really anything much to talk about here, but had to talk about it. Let me know what you thought about it. It's a very forgettable episode. Adios.